Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Chantell Cooley and I always love being with you. We're going to dive deeper in the Word. I'm going to get you excited about your future, who you are, your purpose, and your identity. It's time to take on ground. Amen? So today I want to talk about new warriors are on the scene. You know, I keep hearing this from the voice of the Lord that there are, like on the front lines, it's a mixture of all kinds of people. We've got young people, 12 and 15, 18 years old, 19 years old. Some are in the business and ministry. Some are still in school. We've got business people. We've got marketplace people. We've got ministry leaders. This is a new symbol of the last days of what the Joshuas and Calebs that are taking on ground. We're well able. And we can't listen to what others may say, everything's going bad, our nation's going down, it's no hope. We can't listen to that. If you do, you're like those 10 spies. They didn't hear what God said, they got scared, and they weren't able to even think with the right mindset that God told them to. Joshua and Caleb, they had the right mindset, and that's who we want to be like. We want to take ground. It's almost like we're in these days again, the same days where there's an enemy coming at us from all angles, but God said, remember, God said, we have to remember that. God said we can take the land, okay? I'm reminded of Joshua chapter 1. I love that chapter. Hidden in those verses, Joshua 1:8, I say this a lot, but it's my foundation. It's who I am. It's what I live from. It says, meditate day and night, so you're careful to do everything written in His Word. Then you'll make your way prosperous, and then you'll have good success. Prosperous and good success. Not bad success, not okay success, good success. And you got to hold on to that, because we are deserving of that, and we have to think like that. Yes, that's a warrior mentality. All right, so we are advancing. He is advancing us to greater levels of strength. Okay, so the enemy is just really ramping up. I mean, he knows it's the last days. He knows the church is rising up. He's going to do whatever he can to use government, to use politics, to use culture things, anything he can do to come up against us. But we have God on our side, and with God, one is a majority. There is no army stronger than His host, no force greater than His throne of grace, no enemy that comes up against us can we not take down. Let me tell you what, this is the day. No sea is deeper than His love. We are learning to move from fear to faith in every situation. Fear to faith in every situation we find ourselves in. What season are you in now? Do you have the identity to run in that season? Or are you still in the past season trying to win victories? I kind of have this mindset of how seasons work. You know, a season is a certain amount of time. They may change, they may be shorter or longer, depending on what God is training you and what your mindset is. Are you coming up against everything in this season? Or are you just saying, God, come on, let's do this. Whatever you need to take out of me, whatever you need to put back in me, I'm ready. And so these seasons are for us to develop in and advance. And these seasons, it says, do you have the identity to run in the season you're in, that you believe in yourself in that season? Or are you still in the past season trying to win those victories? That season's over. Yes, you may have messed up. You may not be proud of yourself. Move on. Okay, we all go through those times. Some are harder than others. Some wilderness times within these seasons are rough. Some seasons, it's almost like you break through everything and you're just on another level, running on top of the mountain for however long that season lasts. So anytime you're ready for a new season, it most likely will feel like you're trying to cross a Red Sea. Sometimes God will require more faith to go to that place. It is how the kingdom of God works. You walk by faith, not by sight. Remember that. We walk by faith, not by sight. So you may be speaking the word and praying scriptures over your situation and nothing's changing. Actually, it could be getting worse. Man, there were so many times when we would begin to pray as a family over our company, and some things weren't going well, and we stood our ground. It's almost like you cannot move us from what God told us. You cannot move us. We're going to stay planted right here. You can't make me walk over there, devil. I'm going to stay here because I know what God said. I'm unmovable and I'm unshakable. You see, you've got to be like that. We are the new warriors on the scene. So again, I said, anytime you're ready for a new season, it feels like you're trying to cross the Red Sea. You know, as you transition from one season to the next, you can't have the same identity you had in that season. You have to upgrade so you can see on the level of the new season. You have to go to a higher level. You have to think different. So if you say, well, I'm not thinking, I didn't do anything to advance myself. Okay, let's get you reset. Let's get you filling up. It's like maybe you're an empty cup. You poured out all the water and you're dry and empty. Let's fill you up. It is still your day. I really see, I'm speaking to someone, just feels like, you know, I tried and it failed, and I tried again. And I can hear you saying, I'm a go-getter. I'm one that goes after things, but I just kind of, it never works out. You know what? It's going to work out. But see, God has some big things for you. There's some big things He's taken you through to teach you so you can handle the high level things that God has you in. So maybe you're going through some wilderness times. Well, it's okay. You're being trained as a warrior. Get back up. Brush yourself off. It's all right. If you need to go cry, and then be done. We've got things to do. You have assignments with your name on it, no one else's name. They're for you to take down, all right? So it's time for you. All right, so this sums up, all of this what I've just talked about, sums up what the Israelites faced with Moses. Okay, so a quote from C.H. McIntosh said this: "The seas was before them, Pharaoh's host behind them, and the mountains around them." Have you ever felt like that? I know I have. You either sink or you swim at this point. You go all in. You have nothing to lose, because if you don't trust God in delivering you, well, it's over. You will die. So they had to pull themselves together, I'm talking about the Israelites, and listen to Moses. Tell them, don't be afraid. Just believe. Just believe. And those two words, just believe, they stay in my mind. Just believe, Chantell. Just believe. So God is raising up new leaders all over the world now that will think like Moses, Joshua, and Caleb. Moses, he lost his confidence, but he had to decide not to be in the wilderness forever. He'd already been there, 40 years, right? So he was not a born leader, but he had the potential to learn. You know what? We have the potential to learn. We can do anything that we set our mind to do. You've got to think bigger. He stepped out by faith and did what God told him to do. That's the key here. You know, he had to step out by faith. What is that? Well, that's when you don't feel like doing it. You don't think you can do it, but by faith you can do it. Okay, God, I don't think I can do this, but by faith I'm going to go all in. Faith is believing in the invisible, which then becomes visible. So if you hold your ground long enough, then you're going to see the reality of it, all right? So again, Moses stepped out by faith and did what God told him to do. What is it that you have been sitting around waiting on before you make your move? What is it that has stopped you and you're sitting around, you're just sitting at your table and not making your move? What is it that's caused that? So Joshua had to get courage to take over from Moses, all right? He was like Moses as he was more of a structured leader. Okay, so he wasn't like Moses. He was more of a structured leader. And Joshua was more of a militant leader, okay? And so it was Joshua's time to rise up and to take his place and to take the Israelites across the Jordan River to do what God had said that they would get 40 years earlier. Now it's time, 40 years have passed, it's time. He's got to rule and reign, and he's got to take over from Moses. So God told Joshua to not be afraid in Joshua chapter 1. How many times? Like many, many times. Several times. But hidden in those scriptures is the one verse that is the key for this success. The verse is my verse. Again, it's what I hold on to, and I talked about it earlier. It's Joshua 1:8. So it says, you know, if Joshua was able to meditate on the word, it would keep him strong and courageous. Yes, there's going to be the enemy. Yes, things are going to come up against you. Yes, it's going to feel like you're not going to make it. But if you meditate on the word, you can overcome all of that. because it'll make you strong and it'll make you courageous. That's how you stay strong, and that's how you stay courageous. Does that make sense? All right. So the key was to meditate. How to not forget what the book says. You got to meditate, all right? You have to speak it. You have to say it. You can't just stop. You can't do it for weeks and then you say, well, nothing happened. No. And I had one sweet girl tell me this. She said, there's got to be something better to do more with my time than speaking the word. I just thought, what? Because you see, the reason I'm out of what we were in a horrible place with my family. We were in poverty and no job for my dad, and we were running out of food. It said, speak the word, meditate day and night. So we did. We got our scriptures, and we literally did what that scripture's saying. We didn't just talk about it. We declared it, we prophesied it, we spoke scriptures that covered our case. We said, that's a good one, that's a good one, we'll take this one, we have favor with God and man. We'll take Deuteronomy 28, we're blessed going in, we're blessed going out. We added all these and we spoke them every day, 3 times a day. We believed, see, we needed to do what the scripture said in order to get that we would be having good success. And we haven't stopped having good success, and that's been over 30 years. See, the word will jump ahead of you, and it'll do what it says it will do. Joshua was very successful. They were able to take on the land and conquer, like giants after giants. Because why? They meditated, and it gave them good success, and it made them strong and courageous. Just a powerful, powerful place to meditate on. Like if you can get a hold of that, that'll take you for a long time. You'll always go back to that. It'll be your foundational piece. Joshua 1:8 is my inheritance scripture. It defines me. I walk in it. I feel it. I believe it. I eat it. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So again, as I'm ending up here, God is positioning Joshua's and Caleb's that know what they need to do. You got to know what you need to do, okay? He's saying, take my people across the Jordan. It doesn't matter what is going on around you, charge ahead. The church is rising up and nothing can stop it. You say, well, maybe I'm not called to the ministry. Okay, well, wherever you're doing, wherever you're working, there are lives that need to be changed just by you being nice. And your presence, who knows, could cause that person to enjoy coming to work because you're so nice. That is taking ground. You took ground right there in your position. We are called to be on the front line of God's army. You have what it takes and you know what to do. You learn to face fear. We have to learn to face fear. You have done it before, so now it's time to do it again, except you take this new identity with you. And that's what I want to end with. We got to have this new identity. If you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to be able to handle what's ahead. God has big things for you, but you have to meditate. You can't just think it's going to work out. And here's the thing too, your logic, you may be really smart, but if you think only through your soul, your mind, will, and emotions, you think through that place only, then you're going to run out of faith. Because see, your mind, it can only believe so far. It runs out. It goes, no, we can't do it. But when you think with your inner place, that inner place where God is, then God says all things are possible. Even the worst situation can turn out for your good. That's the way you need to think. This identity is the one thing that the devil cannot get you on. Because, you know, David, he knew it says in Scripture, he perceived he was king. He thought about it, he remembered the prophetic word, and then he said, I'm king. And he walked into that place. You see, the devil doesn't want you to think highly of yourself. He doesn't want you to remember any of those prophetic words you had over your life. So I want you to go back. If you've been given a prophetic word through Scripture, through someone, a prophet or someone, your pastor, I want you to go back. What do you do with that word? Are you lining yourself up? Are you walking in that place? Are you getting yourself ready? I want to end with this. Caleb, it says that God told Caleb that he could have every piece of land that his foot touched. Okay? That was a prophetic word over his life. He said he was a man of a different spirit. Okay, so that means he's going to have to conquer some land to take it, right? But God said he's well able. And even Joshua and Caleb said, we're well able to take this land. He told the Israelites that, standing on that rock. And then the Israelites decided they wanted to go back to their old ways. They wanted to go back to Egypt and be slaves and not be warriors. You can't do that. God has called you to take on new land. And so what happened? So Joshua and Caleb, they didn't get to go in the land, but they went in later. And anyone 20 years and older, they didn't get to go in. So I tell you what, I'm ready to go in and take land every day. And this part of Joshua and Caleb is powerful because they were getting themselves aligned to that prophetic word 40 years earlier that God said they could take the land. So if Caleb wasn't maybe he hadn't been lifting weights and he hadn't been practicing the bow and he didn't know how to throw the spear and all that, then he better get some training, because if he got the training, he would begin to line himself up to what that prophetic word over his life was saying. So that's what I want you to do. Begin to line yourself up to what the prophetic word is saying. Yes, it's maybe future, maybe not long, but you got to line yourself up so everything lines up and you're able to walk in that place, okay? So Father, we thank you for each person watching today. We thank you for the anointing. I feel like the Lord is releasing a new level of anointing and identity. Like you're just rising up and you're even finding your place. It's like the enemy tried to kind of keep you away from what you were. It's almost even like the enemies use people to kind of bring you down to a place where you're not able to think on that level. And it's really been tough on you. So I break those assignments off of you that you can walk in this new place. You think highly of yourself. You know who you are. It's almost like you need a permission for this. So I feel like the Holy Spirit is just saying, hey, you got this. Go. I'm behind you. You can think highly of yourself because I want you to think good of yourself because I'm in you. And I think good of myself, you think good of yourself. That's how God wants us to think. So we release that over you, whoever that is right now. We release that you have a new mindset to think on another level. In Jesus' name, amen. Wow. It's been powerful. Let us know if that was you. We want to just celebrate with you that you're breaking through the identity issues. It's time to take your land. We love you, and let us know any prayer requests you have. We want to pray over you. Let us know what's going on in your life. We are here for you. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.